My number one would definitely be Death Spiritual Healing. The mighty Chuck Schuling, his sound on his guitar, his vocal sound, just basically the sound of death. You know, and not to take, yeah, but we have to remember James Murphy. I think he actually brought something into the songwriting on that album. I love his guitar playing. So yeah, Death Spiritual Healing, definitely on my all-time favorite death metal record. Also because, you know, Chuck took it to another level when it comes to lyrics. Suddenly it was not about satanic stuff or gore, or it was actually relevant things going on in America or just in life.
Preach the good word. Speak no more, prepare to burn. Or justify torture. From this may others learn.
For example, Massacre From Beyond is one of my favorite death metal albums because the stuff they recorded on that album lasts long way back to the mid-80s when they already were called Mantas, and it's a mixture between those early death songs and early Massacre songs. So that was the stuff I already heard on tape back in the 80s, and we had the chance, or we had the opportunity to tour with Massacre in '91 with Morgoth, and to hear that stuff they recorded in the mid-80s on a proper sound, you know, on the From Beyond album, that was just fantastic. And back then, I mean, the band was just like on fire also on the stage, you know. It was great to hear the stuff live. So that was probably one of my favorite tours I ever did. That was a Morgoth Massacre tour From Beyond '91.
Well, that's gotta be the first one. That's gotta be Death, and it's the Human album. I think that the whole album is a masterpiece. I've heard the demos they did where Chuck recorded some drum machine stuff, and then when you hear the real stuff where Sean Reinert is playing like this jazz fusion stuff, and with the double bass drumming, I think that set a new standard for how is this gonna sound in the future. And it's an album that I still listen to daily, like I do with very few albums. So I think this is my number one, also because of all, you know, the whole writing, the vocals, the solos, the melodic parts.
Where is the person that could have been? One together when the earth began, showing up prepared for the uncertain.
If I have to pick my number two favorite, probably Autopsy, Cyber Survival. It's no compromise. It's great. It's the sound of that album, the mighty Chris Reifert, his vocals, his drum style, and Steve DiGiorgio. You know, never heard anything like it. Great songwriting, you know, and sloppy in a good way. I love it.
My number two favorite death metal album, that's gotta be Entombed Wolverine Blues, which is a little bit a different death metal album because it has a lot of grooviness and blues and this rotten sound. And I think that this is a totally party album for me. I remember we always put this album on a Friday night when we were coming with our bag with 10 beers and got drunk, and then we listened to it again and again. I think it has a lot of great songs on. Also an album I can put on any day and it makes me happy. It sounds good, a lot of catchiness. I like it a lot.
Well, the second album, I would say it's Autopsy, Mental Funeral. I think it's the mother of all death metal albums, that if it comes to like sickness and vocal appear, you know, it's like Chris Reifers is such a crazy guy and so cool too, you know. It's like very nice guy, and how can stuff like that come out of a nice guy like Chris, you know. Also toured with them in, I think, 1990 or late 89. I think we did a tour with Autopsy, and back then death metal wasn't really big, but we all knew that especially Autopsy would be something special, because they had this 70s appeal, kind of like the Black Sabbath stuff into their music, also mixed with this really gory stuff, which was like fantastic, you know. And yeah, I would say Autopsy, Mental Funeral, that's a fantastic death metal album.